Secondly, we get introduced to two new characters called the Paladins, and despite looking grumpy and vaguely evil, they're literally just the specialists, except they wear red. Yeah, I don't know. One of these Paladins is named Nex, and boy howdy does the fandom not like him, which is unfortunate for them because Aisha likes him a whole lot, and so do I. Nex's character is supposed to be a twist on the bad boy softened by the loving heroine trope, except Nex isn't even that bad. He's just really arrogant and over-aggressive at times. The problem with this trope is that your bad boy can't start off by doing something absolutely irredeemable, or else no level of tragic backstory will make the viewer like them. Rainbow almost did this trope right, but Nex's character progression is kind of easy to miss, especially in the beginning, because A, the guys aren't in every episode, so by the time you see Nex again, you've kind of forgotten what happened the last time he was around, and B, every time he is around, half of his screen time has to be spent on him and Roy trying to out-macho each other. The show is trying to focus on too many things at once, and as a result, Nex's character arc kind of gets lost among everything else, especially during the first half of the season. But the thing is, during the second half of the season, he behaves significantly different than he did in the first half, so if you don't notice the progression in the first half, it just looks like he's suddenly acting nice in the second half, and then you're really confused and don't know what happened. So then I guess from there, people just assumed that Nex was just acting nice to try and get Aisha to like him, and then from there, everyone assumed that he was like a serial manipulator and womanizer, and then everybody jumped on the Roy train, and everything just escalated insanely quickly, and now we're where we are now. However, Nex's character arc is there. It's just somewhat cluttered, but it is there, and once you notice it, his character becomes significantly more interesting. So let's take a walk, shall we? The first thing we ever see Nex do in this season is some light flirting with the Winx, even though their boyfriends are like 5 feet away. Smart move, Nex. This sends Roy into overprotective boyfriend mode. And then the two have a fight or something, and it both is a big deal and isn't at the same time. In the next episode, the boys are doing this weird obstacle course thing to train for their mission, I guess. And can we just talk about the fact that they're running through a flaming hoop while wearing capes? So Nex does really good on the thing, and then Aisha compliments him, but then Roy does even better than him, and then Aisha compliments him, so then Nex literally just sabotages the thing.
So close. You almost had it.
And once again, this is a big deal and isn't, because yes, Nex is being a stupid jerk here, but also, it's not like Roy was gonna die or anything, and most he would fall like 10 feet, and Winx Club physics do not equal real-world physics, but like, whatever, Nex is being a jerk and not winning any audience sympathy right now, deservedly. All of the characters rightfully assume that he's a jerk and a troublemaker and just generally not a nice person. However, Nex spends the entire season trying to learn to control his impulses and not be over-competitive at inappropriate times. Yes, he is still very snarky and he's still a jerk at times, but he is not as overly competitive and arrogant as he is in these first 2 scenes we see him in. This makes Aisha rethink her first impression of Nex, and over the season the two discover that they have a lot in common and eventually fall in love. Nex starts his character arc almost immediately. Throughout the obstacle course episode, the show goes out of its way to suggest that Nex regrets what he did to Roy. Like, he comes back to fight in the Linthea College mission, even though literally no one wants him to, and his face has this, like, bad boy scowl on it that kind of looks remorseful, and they literally cut to it when Bloom is talking about everyone being in danger.
Flora, your sister Miele needs us. Come on.
During the whole mission, he is completely cooperative, and he doesn't do anything stupid or show-offy. He never tries to, like, challenge Sky's leadership, and he never tries to stop Roy from succeeding or whatever. And then, later in this episode, Roy gets turned to stone by this random flying basilisk thing that exists for some reason, and then this happens.
Roy!
seems genuinely upset about what happened to Roy. And when I first watched this, I just naturally assumed that he was rushing in to, like, protect Aisha. But in retrospect, I think he's rushing the basilisk to attack it as a way of trying to make up for what he himself did to Roy earlier. This isn't strictly relevant, but after this happens, Aisha gives the most distraught yell. Which seems very unnecessary considering that she barely knows either of these guys. Anyway, before long, Nex and Roy are brought back to not stoneness. The next time Nex sees Aisha, he tries to talk to her, and then Roy just yeets him out of the way.
Roy!
Hey! Aisha!
Huh?
Aisha, well,
Yes?
I'm not interrupting anything, am I? For you.
Oh, wow, Roy. Thanks. You shouldn't have. Rollerblades! That's awesome!
Have a good trip, Aisha.
I thought of you when I saw them. I hope you like them.
Look at how freaking sad he is, oh my lord! Of note here, Roy was the one who interrupted Nex's conversation, but then when Nex gets interrupted, he just calmly walks away. The thing is, episode 4 Nex would have shoved Roy back, and then the whole thing would have started into a stupid fight. But episode 7 Nex is learning to control his emotions, so that instead, he just calmly walks away and lets Roy have his time with her. Like, he's trying, he's learning, he is progressing as a human being. This scene also reveals another one of Nex's defining character traits. He is a massive dork. Whenever Nex is away from Aisha or in competition with her, he acts very bold and confident and macho. But as soon as he tries to have a serious conversation with her, he becomes so tongue-tied and adorable, and I can't handle it.
Perfect timing.
And perfect landing.
You are really beautiful. Really great storyteller.
For the rest of the season, we consistently see Aisha growing closer to Nex and more distant from Roy. Often, the Free will participate in sports competitions, like rollerblading, whatever this boat thing is, skiing or swimming, and Aisha and Nex will be having tons of fun competing against each other, while Roy will just kind of fall back and glare at them with the most depressed look he can manage. Additionally, even early on in the season, whenever there is a big group shot, Aisha will usually be standing by Nex, while Roy will just be standing off awkwardly to the side, and it's kind of hilarious. In one of the last episodes of season 6, Aisha randomly realizes that she needs to rescue a bunch of pixies, and she suddenly knows where they all are, even though they have been gone since like the 2nd episode, and no one has been able to find them since, and she just randomly figures it out right now. Yeah, the plot for this episode kind of sucks, just go with it. Nex comes with her, even though he can't actually enter the Legendarium world, so he is literally useless right now, but he comes along anyway because plot. Aisha saves the day, and the pixies make them cupcakes to celebrate, and this happens!
You know, Nex, when Icy hurled that magic against you, well,
Aisha, I felt the same way when you went into the Legendarium world. I was afraid that you...
And now you're happy?
Happier than you can even imagine.
You would think that since Roy has been kind of integral to the subplot, after this we would maybe get a shot of him watching Aisha and Nex together and dramatically scowling as he walks off. But nope, we literally never see him again. Not in this season, and not for the entire rest of the show so far. Once the writers wrapped up the love triangle subplot, they literally forgot that Roy existed. In season 7, the two are treated like all of the other couples, so they get to do cute things in the background every once in a while, and hug each other, and dance awkwardly together. But what sets Aisha and Nex apart is that, in my opinion, their interactions feel a lot more romantic and, most of all, more real and genuine, even though they have less stereotypical displays of affection. While the other couples will be, like, lifting each other up and twirling each other in the air and weird stuff like that, Aisha and Nex will just hug each other once and then just talk calmly with each other, like, you know, regular human beings. Some of their interactions even make them seem more like best friends than romantic partners, but the thing is, that's how a lot of real-life couples act. Instead of treating every second of every day like it's a soap opera, they just hang out and enjoy each other's company. They even occasionally disagree about things and then manage to make up super easily. Like, you know what I'm talking about. Like, Bloom and Sky will have one basic misunderstanding, and then it will turn into a 15-episode subplot in which the two refuse to talk to each other, and Diaspro shows up and tries to kill Bloom or something. But, like, Aisha and Nex, they'll have, like, a minor disagreement or something, and then they'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see it that way, or, oh, I'm sorry, I'm just a little grouchy today, and I snapped out at you, it's fine. Like, they managed to resolve conflicts like normal human beings, and it's refreshing to see that in Winx Club, not gonna lie. The closest thing to explicit romance for them in Season 7 is this scene where Nex accidentally kisses Aisha's pet. That.
Okay, what the heck did I just kiss?
Its name is Squonk.
Only half of Season 8 is out so far, and it's not in English yet, but Aisha and Nex have been going pretty strong in it so far. Not only are they continuing to act normal, but we also received the blessing to the planet that is the Cyrenix arc. In the Cyrenix arc, Aisha's kingdom is having an anniversary celebration, and she has to read this big speech for it. She's busy trying to memorize the speech, but Nex keeps spamming her with texts of support. But ironically, his messages just distract her and have the exact opposite effect he was going for. Aisha then flops her speech, and then, like, a bunch of plot stuff happens, and the Winx and Nex have to go underwater. All the other Winx get attacked by these weird tentacle things, and Aisha begins to feel like she's let both her kingdom and her friends down, so then Nex reassures her that it's gonna be okay, and it's cute. But then he gets abducted by the tentacle things too, and at first Aisha responds in anger and desperation, but then she suddenly remembers the thing that she literally just figured out like 2 minutes ago.
Più li colpiamo per liberarci dai loro tentacoli, e più gli anemoni si difendono e ci aggrediscono. Devo sistemare le cose. Giusto, gli anemoni attaccano soltanto quando avvertono una minaccia.
No duh, Aisha. After all of that gets defeated and everything, Aisha retries her speech and she nails it, and then afterwards she and Nex have a private conversation, and this adorableness happens.
È stato un bel discorso.
Grazie. E poi grazie per esserci stato, Nex.
Ricorda, Aisha, io ci sarò sempre per te, anche quando non vorrai avermi vicino.
Nex, you are being too adorkable. Please get away from me. The Cyrenix arc really explores Aisha's stubbornness, which is a character trait that we actually haven't seen from her in a while, and how Nex responds to it, which is interesting because we often see Aisha having to respond to Nex's stubbornness, and it also gives us plenty of moments of Nex being the absolute dork that he is. But to be fair, I do feel like Season 8 has been taking away the more aggressive and cocky sides of Nex's personality a bit, which is probably just an attempt to appeal to fans that don't like Nex, but it really frustrates me because the whole reason I ship these two is because of the friction between the two stubborn people who like sports, and then them, like, teaching each other to not be as stubborn and jerky, but, like, honestly, none of the guys have any personality in Season 8 whatsoever, so I will take what I can get. And that is the entire history and setup for the other videos that I am trying to make here. That took way too long.